Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So let's talk about screen sizes on smartphones. This seems to be the subject of a lot of videos and blogs and just everywhere. People always ask, and I've asked myself, what's the perfect screen size on a smartphone? And this is a very good subject to discuss because me having such large hands, you would think that I would actually prefer a phone that's 5.5 or above. Well, I use the iPhone SE, and lately I've been using my Galaxy S7, which is just one of my favorite phones, and the iPhone 6S. These are the two phones that I use every day. They're my daily drivers. People always ask that. What are your daily drivers? What's on your phone, or what phone are you using at the time? And it's definitely going to be this iPhone 6S, and definitely the Samsung Galaxy S7. Now, you probably say, Jay, what happened to I thought you were using the S7 Edge. Well, I was using the S7 Edge, but and I have the iPhone 6S Plus. All these phones are still here. iPhone 6 is still around, iPhone 6 Plus. But I found myself using smaller phones for some reason. It's not about the screen size, but smaller phones for me have been the way to go right now. For some reason, this S7 has been in my pocket and in my hand every day. Not a day has gone by that I didn't have the S7 with me. And then my other phone to go to is the iPhone 6S. Now remember, I use the iPhone 6S Plus since launch. Great phone. However, it got to a point where I started to carry, like in the summertime, I wear a lot of sweats going to the gym or whatever, and certain clothing that you wear, the phones will jiggle around. Now, I normally have an outer box on this one. I took it off because I'm at home, just kind of sitting around, and I always have a case on my S7. And but I'm in the house, not really doing anything, just kind of sitting around. And I thought, I am actually going to take my cases off and keep them bare, because at home I tend to keep them bare. But let's get to the point of the video. What is the perfect size screen? Now, I'm a big guy and I have big hands. I'm a tall guy and I have big hands, and I actually prefer a screen or phone this size. And it just so happened that the screen is not very big on this iPhone 6S, but it's 4.7, but I can still get things done. I have no problem. I can reach every corner of the screen with no problem. The same thing with my S7. I can reach every corner of this screen with no problem. Texting, I can keep it in one hand. Lately, I've shifted towards using phones that are no more than 5.3. My G5, I've gotten rid of that. My S7 Edge, I've gotten rid of that. You might say, whoa, technology. For me, I can experience any phone at any time I want to. So I can get another G5 if I want to. I can get another S7 Edge if I want to. But my preference is a phone size, the screen size, at about 5.2 or 5.3. The G5 was pushing it, but the G5 has a good screen size, 5.3. However, the body of the phone itself is much bigger than the S7, and definitely much bigger than my other. You see, I have a lot of phones upstairs in the office, and it's way bigger than all those phones. It's just about as big as my iPhone 6S Plus. And the iPhone 6S is just dwarfed. It's just a little pager compared to the G5. But if I use a phone for a little bit and I give it some serious usage, I review them and I keep most of them. But I'm not attached to any phone at all. I can get rid of both of these just like that and get an HTC 10 and call it a day. But when phones are when I've paid for a lot of money, cash for a phone, or I've paid in full, I have to sell it, and I won't get a lot of money for it. Nonetheless, screen size for me, I've actually shifted from 5.7 and up down to 5.2 and below. The iPhone 6S screen size at 4.7 is pretty good, because this phone is very easy. Without my outer box, even with my outer box, this is still a very small device to handle. And it's really good. The fact that the phone's so thin helps out a lot. And the same thing with my S7. These are some thin phones, and they are very small in the hand. I really, really love that. What do you think is the appropriate screen size for a smartphone? Because remember when the iPhone first came out, 3.5 inches, everybody was like, whoa, you know. Even though there were phones before that that had touch screens, the iPhones kind of set the bill and kind of set the mark as far as society or the regular world goes. Now, we know in the tech world that that's not so much the truth, not the truth, but it's not so much new to us, I'll say. However, screen sizes, I've learned that talking to different people out and about when I'm going places, they don't prefer a very large phone. And in fact, when I was using the iPhone SE daily, I'm not really using it daily anymore, but when I was using that daily, people would say, oh, you know, I would just in casual conversation, oh, that's the perfect. I still have my 5S2, and I'm like, oh, well, this is the SE. And they're like, oh, okay, what's different? And kind of chat for a minute. But the SE, people felt like, you know, hey, this is actually the perfect size, because when it boils down to it, I don't want a brick in my pocket. And when I have these other phones, I just can't put them in my pocket like I want. I don't put phones in my back pocket. I put it in a front pocket. And I don't put anything in my back pockets, wallet, nothing either, because I've lost wallets or just got stolen before with it in my back pocket. So I keep a billfold in my front pocket. And when I have an outer box on my iPhone 6s Plus, or an outer box on some of my other phones, like my Galaxy Note 5, still have the Note 5. Now, the Note 5 is kind of borderline because it has a very small body, but a very big screen. But it is still bigger in size than both of these. But that's a phone that is just, I just can't part with it, man. No matter what, can't part with the Note 5. It is a killer device in every way. However, I've seemed to have shifted towards 5.2 and below. But I think a good screen size for anyone looking to get into the smartphone world is between 4 and 4.7. And that way they'll be able to handle the phone with one hand in any situation. And I'm just holding this one here because this happens to have a 4.7. I'm not promoting this phone, but it just happens to be a device that I have that's 4.7. Now, pretty much I looked through my catalog and I have more phones that are 5 and under than I thought. I didn't really recognize it, or I didn't notice it. I have a lot of 5.5s and 5.7s, and I have a lot of I have a couple of 5.5s actually. I don't have a lot. I have a lot of 5.0 and below, and 5.2, 5.1. I have pretty much all the screen sizes. I even have a 7-inch phone, the MediaPad. Remember that? Still around. But I just can't seem to get myself used to using a large device anymore after using the iPhone SE. When I took it on my trip, remember I took it on my trip? It was so comfortable, so good to use. And I had the S7 with me too. But the S7 to me is just the ultimate device. Screen size is just perfect, 5.1, and it's packing all the power you could possibly want. I mean, the cameras cannot be rivaled on this phone. It is just the best camera on a smartphone. And I just think that's just how it goes, man. I mean, the Samsung Galaxy S7 is a killer device. So I started with the S7 Edge, and I bought that phone for, they gave me like a promo price of like $520. So I jumped on that. But after using it for a while, and using it with cases and started putting it in different pants pockets and just having to take it about every day, I thought, you know what, I think I'll sell this and I'll go down to the S7 and use the S7 and my G5. And so that's what I was doing. And this phone wasn't getting any airtime. It was the G5, the S7, and the SE, iPhone SE. But after a while, the SE, the screen was just ridiculously small for me. And it just wasn't realistic for the things that I wanted to do. Now, this iPhone 6s right here at 4.7, it can definitely do a heck of a lot. It's a little bit more comfortable. You can definitely do a lot more with this device as far as media content than the iPhone SE. The iPhone SE is not a bad phone, mind you. It's pretty much the same as this in a different body. That's all, a little bit smaller for those who prefer that. But again, I'm a big guy, and 4 inches, just, for 2 years straight, I don't think I can do it. I can go back to it every now and then. Oh, yeah. But the middle ground for me on iPhones, definitely, this is like my ultimate right here at 4.7. But 5.1 for me has been my sweet spot. I went on ahead and sold the S7 Edge, and I don't regret it. I actually really like the form factor of the S7. I found myself not really using the Edge feature a lot, but I was using it, and but I didn't use it enough to justify me to keep that bigger body, and the price wasn't really a thing because I got such a sweet deal on it. Obviously, when I sold it, I made some money, but this was more to my liking. 5.1-inch screens. I get a higher resolution, and everything is pretty much the same. Here's something. Side note from the screen size, what this video is about. Battery life on this phone. People have been comparing it to the S7 Edge, and they'll say you need to go with the S7 Edge if you want a killer battery. I'm getting killer battery on this phone, and I'm a heavy user. So you kind of have to take it, and you know what? I get just as good battery on this phone. So it depends on the user. I'm a heavy user, and all of the tech blogs that I read all say that this phone is better in battery life than the S7 Edge. So what? It has a bigger battery. I've got plenty of phones that have smaller batteries where the battery is, here's one right here, for example. This battery is only like 1600, and I have an Android phone the Android phone that I just reviewed has a 2450 milliamp hour battery. It's the little $100 all metal phone. That phone battery is on its third day of use, and I've got 3 hours of screen on time. 3 days, 3 hours of screen on time. That is fantastic battery life on a 2450 milliamp hour battery. Yes. And so this phone right here, to me, has killer battery. I've heard a lot of, I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm using it. Shout out to the Samsung Knights also for helping me to learn to condition these Samsung phones to get the most battery out of them. Those things, shout out to Richard too, man, for hooking me up, and all the Knights over there, Oliver, Deidre, all you guys, man. They helped me out with the battery conditioning. They gave me some tips and tricks, and it truly works. I get a lot of battery out of the S7, and it's got a 3000 milliamp hour battery. I get a lot of battery out of here. Anyway, screen size for me, I haven't picked up any of my bigger phones in a long time, and I've just been using these two right here. These are my go-tos right now, especially this one, man. Oh man, you have no idea. This is a killer phone with killer battery, cameras. I got a 200 gig card in here. There's so many things about this phone. It's waterproof. Yeah. One thing also, I got my always on display. I really wish iOS would just listen to Android and install that feature on their iPhones. I think that would be fantastic. Anyway, what's your favorite screen size? What size screen do you use on a phone right now? It's your man, Jay Will. Let's talk about it in the comments. See you in the next one.